In this episode, I'll be talking about what I've learned from 15 years of business.
Welcome to the Online Course Coach Podcast, brought to you by TrueFocusMedia.com. Whether you're a beginner or expert, this is the podcast for the latest in online course creation tips, news, interviews, and ideas. And here's your coach, Jeff Long.
Welcome back to another episode of the Online Course Coach Podcast. And as you know, most of our podcasts are about online courses, how to build them, how to market them, promote them, how to grow your influence, grow your audience, create income. I mean, just everything relating to online courses. But today I want to zoom out a little bit and talk about what I've learned from the past 15 years of being in business for myself. And I'm actually going to tell you why that title of what I've learned from 15 years of business is actually the worst title that I could have given this, and how that applies to your online courses. And I'll talk about that title specifically and why it's bad. I'll talk about that here in a few minutes. Now, if you've been listening for any amount of time, you know I'm a practitioner. My background is in course creation, in website development, in putting the videos together and just building out the whole system. So we've done that for entrepreneurs, for thought leaders, and for companies and businesses. And I love it. And that's where this podcast comes from. So I'm not just a marketer that's hopping on the bandwagon and talking about courses because they know how to sell a course about how to make a course on courses or whatever that is. And then I come from a family of educators. You know, my parents are both college professors. My brother's a teacher, and I have corporate training experience with Lowe's. In fact, once I graduated from college, I got to travel all over the country and do corporate training with one of the best companies in the world. So it was fantastic. Now, before I jump into these lessons that I've learned from being in business for 15 years, again, we're going to zoom out and talk about, what brought me to this point, some of the success things that I've had, and how I would shorten that path to success now. It's hard when you're starting out. I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the podcasts. I didn't have the courses like we do now. And so I want to share some of the success strategies that I've had. And some of these we've talked over in some of the group coaching and masterminds that I've led. But I want to take just a minute to talk about 4 opportunities for you to learn and grow. I've found that while you can take a course about how to make a course from whoever, most people want feedback, they want community, and they also want to learn how a course fits into their overall business model. Because yes, I love courses. I'm sure you're interested in creating a course, but how does it fit into your business? Being in business for 15 years for myself, I love working with people to not just create effective online courses, but dive into those strategies on how to make their business grow and talk about the different revenue streams that can be created outside of a course. So I'm actually announcing something brand new in this podcast. I'm going to be holding regular master classes where I go deep into a topic and show you my exact process. And we'll do this live together. So because it's live, you'll get to ask your questions too, which I think will be invaluable. So you can stop me and say, hey, Jeff, you mentioned this, in this part of the strategy or this part of the process. What if, why do you do it that way? Or what if this? Or I think that's going to be very, very helpful. So I've already planned out 3, actually more than that, but we'll talk about the first 3 here, masterclasses. You can go to onlinecoursecoach.com/masterclass to learn more, to sign up, and even get email alerts on when those will be coming out, because they will be coming out soon. So one of the masterclasses will be Facebook ads for course creators. This has been extremely helpful in my own business to grow my audience, grow my email list, give away extra resources and things like that. Maybe some of you have come in from those Facebook ads. I've also been able to sell courses through Facebook ads. Now, it can be an expensive process. You can lose a lot of money if you don't do it right, and I want to show you the exact system that I use. The second masterclass I'll be giving is called Course Marketing Mastery. I have 33 ways to market your online course before you build it, while you build it, and after you create your online course. So one of the reasons a course is not successful is it doesn't have a marketing strategy in place. And so we'll talk about 33 ways you can market your online course. Some of them are really creative, really innovative, and some of them are just simple, like, oh, why didn't I think of that? And so I want to go through those in depth. That'll be a really, really helpful resource. So it's not just after you create your course, but it's before, during, and after you create your course. The third masterclass I'll be holding is called Rapid Revenue Streams. So I'll give you 20 plus additional revenue streams around your online course. So you probably have a business and an online course is just one component. I want to talk about 20 revenue streams. I mean, I use the example in my own business. I try to have multiple fish hooks, even in different ponds, that create revenue. So if one hook isn't biting, maybe another hook is. And so if you could have over 20 revenue streams in your business, and it might not even be tied directly to your online course, we'll be talking about that. So you can go to onlinecoursecoach.com/masterclass where you can sign up for the upcoming classes and get alerted to the next ones. The good thing is if you sign up to take the masterclass live, it will be cheaper than when I release it to the website. So it'll probably be 2 to 3 times more expensive on the website, maybe even higher. I haven't locked in the final price, because I really want to incentivize you to take these live so you can ask your questions during the masterclass. And also, don't forget, the second thing I want to talk about really quickly is if you need one-on-one coaching to get your course jump-started, or if you have a course but need it to perform better, check out the coaching page at onlinecoursecoach.com/coaching, and you can fill out the application and go from there. And then real quickly, the third and fourth resource, the third one is I love helping people obviously create courses, and so I have a fairly new course creators mastermind. We recently started one, and it's been fun to meet with other motivated course creators. And we talk about courses, how to create them, how to market them, but we also talk about business growth strategies, mindset, and so much more. We've had a couple already, and they've been a blast. I mean, not just for me, it's not just been fun to teach and help other people, but for the group to help motivate, encourage each other, and it's been phenomenal. So you can go to onlinecoursecoach.com/mastermind to get on the wait list for the next available opening. And you can go to the website to see these links in the show notes. And then the last thing that I'm really proud of is my 6-week course Accelerator group coaching program. And you can go to onlinecoursecoach.com/group coaching. We recently concluded that the first round, and the next round will probably be happening in January of 2019. And the members had some really good breakthroughs and successes. It was actually way better than I expected, which I had high expectations. We went through my system of how to know what your ideal students want to learn, how to create a course without having to use confusing software, and then each person developed their own marketing strategy to build and grow their audience before, during, and after they created the course. In fact, I recently did a short interview with one of the Course Accelerator members, so he can tell you what he learned in the program. So let's hear from Rich about what he has to say. All right, well, I am here with Rich Decker. So Rich, tell me, first of all, welcome, and tell us, how do you help people?
Well, thank you, Jeff. I'm very excited to be here and to be talking to you. How I help people is about 7 years ago, I was in a pretty rough spot, and I learned some, I guess you'd call them ancient practices, ancient techniques, methods that really kind of saved my life. So I take those ancient methods along with the newest scientific information, and I help people get some control of their minds and get a little more peace of mind and be a little more content and a little more happy in life. Our brains are not wired for happiness or contentment even. It's wired first and foremost after millions of years of evolution to keep you alive above all else. So the one thing that everybody, every single person awake and breathing right now wants is happiness, or at least peace of mind or contentment. But our brains aren't wired for it. We have moments We'll have a few moments of pleasure, but then immediately we're seeking something else. So with what I teach and what I've learned and what I can help people with is I can help you to at least be content through your day and be a little more at peace of mind.
That's great. I know we all need that. I mean, especially as people are adding things to their plate, rarely are we removing. I'm sure stress is skyrocketing and you're seeing that a lot.
Yes.
Do you have a specific target audience or market or person that you serve specifically?
Well, I like to help people that are seeking something, but they're not quite sure what. I know for myself, I flirt around with some of these ideas of meditation and mindfulness and everything for a while prior to actually really digging into it. So those are the people I'm seeking. I'm seeking people that are they know that there's something going on and it's just not working for them anymore, and they need something to help them. That's who I'm seeking.
That's good. That's so good. Now, tell me about the Course Accelerator coaching group. Why did you join that, first of all? When I think I was talking about it on the podcast or email or something, and it must have perked your ears. What got your attention with it?
Well, as I've mentioned to you prior to our recording this, I have listened to almost every one of your podcasts, and I've gone on your website, and I found it so helpful that I thought, number one, I wanted to repay you in some way and help you repay back for helping me so much. And then also a chance to pick your brain and talk to you one-on-one or in that group setting. And I'll tell you that, all the YouTube videos and all that first hour of the Course Accelerator, that first time we met, I got more out of that than all the other YouTube videos out there. So it's been a great experience. In fact, I'm still trying to catch up on all the information you shared with us. So.
Well, good. Yeah, it's powerful, and I love going through some of that process, and especially with the group, I think that's helpful to talk about ideas and see those aha moments and things like that. So, what are some of the things you gained from that coaching group that you can kind of take with you, both with maybe the current course and maybe into the future?
Well, from all the things I've studied and looked at, I just didn't know how to start. I didn't know where to start. And I know in your podcast, you talk about that as well. But what was great about meeting in a group setting and where we meet weekly is, okay, here's step one, do this. Here's step two, do this, do this, do this. So it just got me. I had all this information. I just didn't know how to put it into action. And that's what the group helped me do, is start putting it into action.
Yeah. I love how you said that, because information's everywhere, but a lot of times it's the strategy. And sometimes it's even just like, hey, let's slow down and forget about steps A through Z. Let's work on step A. Right. And that's what, was one of my goals through that group.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got more done since our Accelerator group than months prior. I just didn't know how to put it into action.
That's good. That's good. So tell me where you are in the process, where you're going, and what that has looked like.
Well, my idea is to have an entire online school. It's called Masters of the Mind Institute. And I have numerous ideas for courses. I have other people I'd like to tap into to be a part of this. But the first step is to get a mini course together. I wanted to just to learn how to do the process, number one. And before I launch into this big 2 or 3 or 4 hour course, I just wanted to do the quick 20-minute one, and to learn how to do it also, by experiencing it. And so I'm working on that right now. It's something called Learning the Best Skill for the 21st Century. I read a book by Yuval Noah Harari. Are you familiar with Yuval?
I'm not, no.
His book, Sapiens, and he's on his third book now, but he's talking about the 21 lessons for the 21st century. And Yuval's a big meditation guy, and he says one of the skills we're going to need in this upcoming century with the algorithms and the AI and all this loss of jobs and everything is we are going to need to learn to know we're going to have to know ourselves better than we know ourselves now. So I've taken that idea and I'm running with it. And the idea that these skills are not only helpful for you, they're going to be essential in the future, near future.
So why do you think somebody would want to go through the course Accelerator coaching program?
If someone's out there and they know they want to do this stuff, but they just don't know how to get started, they don't know what do I do? There's, like you said, there's all this information, but what you do with us, what you did with us, is you walked us through and you gave us these steps, and you sent us, after our meetings, you would send us these documents, these PDFs. Here, do this, 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 and that's what I needed. That's what I needed.
Yeah, that's good. So, Rich, lastly, where can people learn more about your podcast, your services, anything like that?
They can go to mindfulaccord.com. It's mindfulaccord.com. I'm going to be changing that website. My business was geared towards businesses, but I'm really switching directions and going to a more online courses and some other things. And again, I'm seeking the individual that's looking for help instead of trying to convince someone that you need this, because that's a tough sell.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, Rich, I appreciate your being in the group. First of all, you added such a powerful dynamic. You are a big help and encouragement and motivator to the others in the group and to me. And I appreciate you being on here today. And so to the listener, definitely check out his site and his information. And I know he'll offer a lot of help. So Rich, thanks for being on.
Thanks, Jeff. To actually get to meet you and talk to you and get to know you has been phenomenal for me. Thank you.
All right, so there you go. Again, go to onlinecoursecoach.com/group coaching or onlinecoursecoach.com/mastermind to learn more about those. Fill out the application, get on the waiting list for that. And for any of these show notes, I've listed several links. Go to the website, find this latest podcast, go to onlinecoursecoach.com. You can search, 15 years of business or business, or whatever, and this one will come up. All right, let's dive right into the content. And I want to give some background about myself, about some business principles, success principles, and what I've found through the years. So like I said at the beginning, I'm a practitioner. I've been doing this for over 15 years now. I'm not a marketer who's hopping on the bandwagon and says, oh man, a lot of people are doing courses. I should start selling and promoting courses, right? No, I've been doing this for clients, and that's kind of where this podcast came from. I thought, what if I could have more impact, help more people, and help you teach more people, right? And that's why I say at the end of every show, it's my goal to help you to teach many, impact millions, because I that's really what I want that legacy to be. I come from a family of educators. I've done corporate training. And before I started my entrepreneurial career, I did corporate training for Lowe's. So I got to fly all over the country to exciting places like, Iowa and Illinois. But I got to go all over the places. I'm from Iowa, so I can kind of make fun of that. But I did get to go to Hawaii, do some corporate training there, and spend a week just driving around the Big Island. It was a blast. I got to go to Alaska and do training there. I will say Fairbanks in the middle of winter, it's very, very cold. All right, very cold. And I got to go everywhere else in the country. I've been to all 50 states, not just with this corporate training with Lowe's, with some other things, with some travel with my family, with some just fun trips, with some mission stuff. It's been a blast. I always tell people there's amazing people everywhere and there's difficult people everywhere. So it's really about what you choose to focus on, so you can focus on the challenging people wherever you live, or you can focus on the amazing people that are all around us. And I learned a lot doing corporate training. I would train everybody from the store manager all the way to the store janitor. And, it really helped to know how to manage people. I'm somewhat fresh out of college trying to wrangle the store manager, the other department heads into some training. Everybody's busy. It was challenging, but it really helped me to see an amazing organization and how they operate. So I still love going into Lowe's these days. In fact, I was just there yesterday and observe different things that they're still doing, which is pretty cool. Now, when I started my career, I actually had two business partners, and I think that was good for me. However, it gave me some challenges. So the first success tip is if you're considering a partnership, I love Dave Ramsey. He has a quote that says, I think it's something like the only ship that doesn't float is a partnership. All right. They can be hard. Especially my two partners and I pretty much did the exact same stuff. All right. So we owned a video marketing company, but we all pretty much had the same skill set. So if I were to do that again, I would want to make sure that one person did something somewhat different, but in line with our services, with our businesses. I was listening to a podcast and I think it was a Tim Ferriss podcast. He said something like shared values, but different skills. I think that is important. Now, I was blessed in that both business partners we left on common terms. I was able to buy one out and even hire one on for different projects. So it was an amazing experience. It helped me learn and grow, get some confidence. But I kind of quickly outlearned them because I was so excited. I was so passionate about the topic. So don't be afraid to go into partnership, but don't jump into one quickly. If you do go into a partnership, make sure that you seek the advice of many wise people. Make sure you have an operating agreement so you know how you can get in and get out of the business and what all that looks like. Now, another success principle I should have said at the very beginning is my title is one of the worst titles, and I always tell people not to do this. So in your titles, in your modules, whether it's your blog posts, your course modules, always give the date, not the number of years. So notice how my title is, what I've learned from 15 years in business. So if you're going to listen to this 5 years after I record this, 10 years, it's always going to seem like I have 15 years of business experience. But I should have said, and I almost put this in the title, what I've learned or lessons learned from being in business since 2003, something like that. So always make sure you have the date, not the number of years. So whether you're doing a video, a podcast, whatever that is, give the date, not the number of years. Now, the next thing I wish I had done at the very beginning, I wish I had hired a coach. And I'm not saying this because, hey, Jeff's the course coach guy. No, I really wish I would have hired a coach, a consultant, somebody that was further along in their business that could help me. Now, I think there's a lot of value in mentors, in these podcasts and trainings and courses and different things, but I think there's something valuable with one-on-one coaching with somebody that's been there and honestly, somebody that you're paying because when you're paying, there's skin in the game, right? You're serious about those results. I'll talk in a minute about how much I spend on different courses and coaching and consulting and things like that. But I really wish I had paid for coaching at the beginning. I kind of floundered for many years because I didn't seek the wisdom of somebody that was doing what I wanted to be doing. And so it was kind of funny. I would be at my office working, expecting the phone to ring, but nobody really knew about me and my company. I kind of laugh about that now, but I really wish I had, just seeked the insight, the wisdom of a coach. And the second thing that goes along with that is I wish I would have networked a lot more. This might sound really dumb, and I'm a pretty simple guy, but the more people that know you, the more that can refer work to you, that can hire you, that can recommend you. So you can do this both online and in person, right? You can do this with local meetups, with conferences, both in your area and ones you travel to, with mastermind groups that you're a part of, with podcasts or Facebook Lives, or maybe you have your own podcast, maybe you go on other people's podcasts. Make sure that you're networking, that you're getting out there, that you get to know people and you let people get to know you, because that's where the magic happens. Yeah, I've gotten so much more value because of that, and I'll talk about speaking here in a minute. Well, hey, I'll just talk about speaking now. Speak whenever you can, even if it's just to a small group. I remember, years and years ago, some of my first years, I was scheduled to speak at a very small group of entrepreneurs, local group. I knew it was a small group. I went there anyway, and that day it was snowing. It was one of those where you're like, are they going to cancel this? Maybe I think school might have been canceled. Snow is coming down. I'm like, you know what? I'm still going to go. I'm still going to speak. I've already prepared this stuff. And when I got there were 4 people in the room. And honestly, I was mad at myself for coming. I was mad that I was kind of wrangled into this, even though I volunteered or I said, hey, I'll speak. And so I spoke, and I tried to give it my all, and I'm sure I did. But I was really disappointed. I was like, man, I just wasted, driving there, giving the talk, driving back, kind of being out of my focused time there. But oddly enough, I gained a client from that. One of the people in the one of the people in the group was a marketing manager for an organization. They hired me. We worked together for many years. It brought in several $1,000s of work, and all because I went and I spoke to a group of 4 people. And this has happened more often than not. I've spoken at another local group where it was very small. And this was, again, many, many years ago. One day I got an email from a person I think I met at this group, and she said, hey, Jeff, I met you at this meetup group, blah, 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 and I want to introduce you to this manufacturing company, and they need some, courses and marketing and stuff that you do. And honestly, I was kind of scratching my head because I couldn't quite remember meeting her at this networking group. But, I met the corporate client, talked to them, and they hired me, and they represented tens of thousands of dollars over the years. And so the more you can speak, the more you can network, the better it is. Now, I will say this. The key to all that is providing value, serving other people, and helping them. Because I don't know if you've been in networking groups or if you've heard podcasts where all the person talks about is, me. Here's what I do. Look at me. I'm great. Whenever I go to a networking group or, meet people, I try to get to know them. What makes them successful? What are their struggles? What are they into? And yeah, sometimes I might say, well, hey, have you thought about this? Or, I do interject. I do try to help them, but I don't know if you've been to these networking groups where, people are shoving business cards into your face. It just doesn't give a good impression. So whether you're at a conference, at an online, webinar or meetup or, whatever it is virtually, make sure that you're serving before you're selling. Now, the next success principle is to build an email list of people that want your content, your resources, your courses, and more, because these become not just your followers, but really your friends. Earlier I talked about one-on-one coaching, group coaching, masterminds. Man, the people that have gone through those with me have become friends. I want to see them succeed. I want to see them grow. It's been fun to see them learn and improve. And so, I think that's one thing that people don't talk about a lot with, hey, build an email list and build a follower, fans and all this stuff. Okay, that's great. But I think that's an opportunity where you can really get to know your followers and have them become your friends. So again, I consider many of you that I've talked to personally, that I've seen, that I've helped, my friends. If I haven't seen you or talked to you or whatever, hey, I consider you my friend too. Thanks for listening. And I look forward to getting to know you even more. So build resources, create content that is helpful, checklists and guides and videos and mini courses and things like that. You can see an example of that at onlinecoursecoach.com/resources, where I have a bunch of those. You can get some tips, some helpful content that will help you get a lot of your problems solved. So all that to say, while building an email list is helpful, is important, it really helps you build that tribe of followers and friends. Now, the next success principle I've learned over these years doing business is being an entrepreneur can almost be tougher inside your head than outside of it. And it's really a mental game. I was just listening to a podcast this morning, one of the Tony Robbins podcasts. He interviewed Tim Ferriss, and Tim Ferriss has an interview in his book. The book is called Tools of Titans. And one of the people that he interviewed said, don't believe everything you think. I love that because so many times we think, oh man, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, or when will, my course start to sell more? When will I blah, blah, blah. And so, being an entrepreneur can be tougher in your own head than outside. It's a mental game. And so, like I said, don't believe everything you think. Now, there are things, called affirmations, which I do like. I'm not one of these woo-woo kind of rah-rah people. Sometimes affirmations kind of weird me out. But I think it really does. Whatever you think about, you become. Let me back up. In my mastermind, we talked about this, borrowing the confidence of others. So if your spouse, if your friend, if even your client or customer thinks you can do something, that's a lot of confidence. Take that confidence and use it in your business. So there are times where, we're taking on a big corporate client for my business, and I'm thinking, man, there's a lot of moving pieces, or this is a lot riding on this. Can I do this? And I think, you know what? My client thinks I can do it. My team thinks I can do it. I know we can do it. And I kind of get this confidence build up because all these people have confidence in me, in my team, in what we can do, in what we've done before. And that borrowed confidence helps create momentum. So if you are in your head a lot, make sure that you write down, even writing down a list of skills, of successes, of achievements, of things you can do, make a list. I've talked about that in different podcasts. Make a list of different skills, and you'll kind of be surprised, like, wow, I can do a lot of things. And you know what? Even if you can just do a few things really well, that's amazing too. So it's not a list game about who has the longest list of skills wins. No, it's about who can serve more people, who can help more people, and provide solutions to people's problems. All right, the next success principle is kind of counterintuitive, but really, and maybe you've heard this before, it's not succeed or fail, kind of back in school, it's pass or fail, right? But in business, it's success or learn. So if you succeed, fantastic. If you don't succeed, you learn, right? You learn maybe what not to do. You learn how to do it differently. So if you have a course and it didn't sell to your expectations, okay, that's fine. It's not a one-time thing and then you're sunk, right? Learn how to market that. Learn how to grow your audience. Learn from other people's successes and failures so you can either copy their successes or avoid their failures. And again, that's one of the reasons why I'm going to be having these masterclasses. Again, we talked about course marketing mastery. I talked about rapid revenue streams, and I'll have some other things that will help you succeed with your course, even if you've launched your course and had maybe some less than stellar results. All right, so it's not succeed or fail, it's succeed or learn. Another success principle I've learned is don't try to learn everything. All right, and I've really struggled with this. I am an inquisitive person. I love to learn. I love to try to do it all. But that's kind of been one of the things that's been holding me back. And this is what I've been learning probably the last several years is don't try to learn everything. Hire out the complex things and don't expect to get to the next level from free content. So this podcast is really good, right? I love podcasts. In fact, some say I'm addicted to podcasts. I'm always listening. I'm always trying to learn and grow. But chances are you're not going to learn. You're not going to be committed. You're not going to have skin in the game if you're just listening, watching, or consuming free content. So don't try to learn everything. Like I said, in the last couple of years, I've really tried to hone down, to focus and refocus and think, okay, yes, I'm interested in 50 things, but what can I be remarkable at with 3 things, 2 things, 1 thing, whatever that might be? And that's one of the reasons why this podcast is here, right? Because I really wanted to focus on that. And then along with that, I've really tried to stop doing the doing, right? I've tried to hire people for the doing so I can focus on the strategy, the sales, the management, some of those things. And so I have a team around me that does, the coding, the video editing. Even I have an amazing audio editor and show notes writer, because I want to find specialists that can do that. And yes, I could do that. But you know what? doesn't all that stuff you could do, maybe even you have that word should, all the stuff you should do, doesn't that get overwhelming? What if you could have competent, high-quality people do that for you while you focus on the few things that only you can do? Oh, that reminds me, another masterclass I'll be having is how to outsource your course. All right, so we'll be going through how to find people that can do a lot of the technical things, a lot of the even tedious or monotonous things, some of the research, some of the planning, some of the technical setup. We'll be going through step by step how you can outsource almost every part of your course creation and marketing. So again, go to onlinecoursecoach.com/masterclass to sign up for the alerts, and I will let you know when we are going to be doing that. All right, enough of that. So again, stop doing the doing. Hire people out. So that might be a short-term thing where it's per project. That might be bringing on an assistant. Maybe it's a virtual assistant for ongoing work. Maybe it's hiring full-time people, and they're always at your beck and call. Maybe they're developers or marketers or whatever that is. Don't be afraid to hire people out and bring more people onto your team. Additionally, don't be afraid to hire a specialist out for bigger things. So maybe it's coaching, consulting, or a big project you need to bring an expert on. Maybe so. To me, there's kind of two parts of this. You can a lot of times find people that are much more affordable because they can do some of the monotonous work, some of the repeatable work, or maybe it's their specialty, so they're really fast, so they're more affordable. And don't be afraid to hire out specialists that are the expert in a given area or a given topic. I've done that before. I brought people on and they are a lot of money, but it's worth it because we're building something bigger for a project. Now, I talked really briefly about how much I spend. And while I don't have a set spending amount that I spend on like personal development, my friend Dan Miller, who I'm in his podcast, and he has an amazing, I'm in his mastermind. He has an amazing podcast. I think he talks about, is it 3 or 5% of his income he spends on personal development? I don't have that fleshed out, but every year I spend money on courses, masterminds, coaching, conferences, all to grow my business. And a lot of times it's how to think like a more successful person in my business, in my family, in my marriage. And all this cost, I would guess, at least $5,000 to $10,000 per year. But it's invaluable to my personal business growth and personal development. So just last week, I hired a coach that was very, very, very expensive, many thousands of dollars to help me to get to to help me improve on something that I want improved in my business. All right. So I'm not just here saying, hey, you should hire a coach, hire me. No, I am hiring coaches. I am hiring consultants. I'm going to conferences and I'm paying for masterminds and I'm doing the work, right? Because I want to become better. And I use a lot of that to help you. So I think there's this ability where when you're learning, when you're growing, you can help more people. So I always want to be learning and growing myself. And the final 2 success principles that I've learned with being in business for over 15 years is, my success is more about my mindset and my thinking than my skill level. So I'm very good at what I do, but my brain, my mind, my ability to create and solve problems is my success more so than the doing. So creating a course or course design or developing a website or putting together, a strategy or whatever that is, my mindset is probably the most important thing. So I want to be developing that mindset for success. And then lastly, some of my most important skills I've learned are in business, how to run and manage a business, how to do sales. And I talked about that before. I want to sell through serving. I don't want to sell through sleazy strategies or trying to convince people. I want to sell through serving. I want to make it work for that person. I want them to get more out of it than I am charging. And then also I've learned how to manage people. That's been an invaluable skill. So again, the doing is important. It's helpful, but it is something that you can hire out. All right, so those are some of the success principles. Obviously, those are not all of them. I'm always learning. I'm always growing. But I just wanted to pass those on to you because as I've been talking to my group coaching students, to people in my mastermind and different things, a lot of times these success principles are more important than the actual content, than the doing, than creating a course. It's kind of a bigger picture. It's zooming out to see the whole picture. So again, I mentioned some links. Those are in the show notes. You can go to the show notes for this podcast. But if you go to, all these are, onlinecoursecoach.com/coaching or /group coaching or /mastermind or /masterclass. You can learn more about those because I think those are really going to help you, especially as we are, as you're planning your course, as you're trying to grow it, improve it. Those will help you master not just the course creation and marketing, but the business savviness, the growth in your business. So check those out. See which one of those works best for you, helps you the most, and it would be fun to get to know you a lot more. All right, well, that is all for today's show. If you have questions or comments, you can go to the Facebook page at facebook.com. Wow, can't talk. Facebook.com/ actually, we'll do this. onlinecoursecoach.com/Facebook. That will take you directly to the Facebook page. You can comment on this podcast, or you can shoot me an email. Go to the contact page on the website. Let me know some of the success principles you've had. I know many of you have been in business for many years. You have success principles, and I'd love to highlight those on this podcast. Maybe we'll have a follow-up to some of your success principles. I think that would be really fun. All right, well, keep coming back to the show. Keep listening. I know as we're getting into a new year, or if you're listening to this in a new year, or maybe, this is mid-year while you're listening to this, make sure that you are growing your business. Make sure that you are learning and growing. Make sure that you are finding out what your audience needs from you. That's how you get success in your business. And I didn't even mention this, but success is obviously not just in your business. It's with your family. It's with your marriage. It's with your friends. So make sure to water those gardens. All right. What you water is what grows. So please don't neglect those. All right. Well, keep teaching other people as you listen to this, as you get hopefully motivated and encouraged and get more information. Make sure you are passing along information to other people in your audience, in your materials, because as you know, it is my goal to help you so you can teach many to impact millions.